All right, let's take a trip back in time to break down one of the most clever and incredibly patient marketing schemes ever. We're talking about the story of how two cigarette brands, Belair and Raleigh, got millions of people to stay loyal for years, all with a simple little promise printed on the back of every single pack. So how'd they do it? Let's get into it.
This was the hook. This was the central idea they sold in pretty much every commercial. They weren't just selling a cigarette, they were selling an experience. It's a phrase that's designed to take you somewhere else, to make you feel something pure, something natural. So how on earth did they convince people that a cigarette could be clean and fresh? Well, it all started with just a few very carefully chosen words. The entire advertising campaign was built on this foundation of sensory language, and they repeated it so often that, in people's minds, the words in the product became the exact same thing.
The most important word in their playbook was fresh. The ads just hammered it home again and again. Taste the freshness, a clean, fresh taste. This was a deliberate move to create this link to the outdoors, to cleanliness, to something new. The exact opposite of what you'd normally think about when it comes to smoking.
Next up, they used the word light. You'd hear it constantly in the commercials. A light touch of menthol, or even just the right touch of menthol. This was no accident. The language was specifically crafted to suggest a milder, less harsh experience. It was all about a gentle, pleasant sensation, not some powerful, overwhelming one.
And to top it all off, there was the word modern, the pure white modern filter. You have to remember, this was an era that was fascinated with technology and progress. So this positioned the cigarette as being on the cutting edge. It implied safety, cleanliness, and advancement, which made choosing Belair feel like a smart, contemporary move.
So when you put it all together, you get this incredibly consistent message that's all about sensation and feeling. This was the first part of their strategy: sell the immediate feeling of a light, fresh, modern experience.
Clean and fresh as all outdoors. That's the pleasure you get in the clean, fresh taste of Belair. New Belair, the light menthol cigarette that gives you true tobacco taste.
There's a light touch of menthol in a Belair cigarette. Just the right touch of menthol in a Belair cigarette.
Fine tobaccos with a light touch. Just the right touch of menthol and the pure white Belair filter. And now, you get famous Raleigh...
But here's the thing. That was only half the story. The real genius was in what came next.
Okay, and this is where the strategy gets really, really interesting. The ads themselves actually called it an unbeatable combination. They weren't just selling a product, they were selling a 2-for-1 deal that was baked into every single pack.
And there it is, part one, the immediate gratification from that light menthol cigarette. And part two, the promise of a future reward, the famous Raleigh coupon.
Now, for the first time, you can get famous Raleigh coupons with a light menthol cigarette. Yes, Belair, new Belair, now has Raleigh coupons, good for hundreds of wonderful free gifts. Belair, the light menthol cigarette that gives you true tobacco taste.
There's a light touch of menthol in the Belair cigarette. Just the right touch of menthol in the Belair cigarette. So look for the pack with the coupon on the back. Smoke Belair, new Belair.
So refreshing. Fine tobaccos with a light touch. Just the right touch of menthol and the pure white modern filter. Get true tobacco taste in a menthol cigarette. Get Belair, the only menthol cigarette with the famous Raleigh coupon.
Look for the pack with the coupon on the back. Smoke Belair, new Belair.
So let's really dig into that second part, the loyalty program that became, honestly, a cultural phenomenon. It was all about that little piece of paper on the back of every pack.
Oh man, this jingle was everywhere. It was catchy, it was simple, and it was basically a direct command. It literally trained people what to look for at the store, turning a simple purchase into the first step of a long and, as we're about to see, a very long journey. The system itself was beautifully simple. You buy one pack, you get one coupon, a direct one-to-one reward for your purchase. It's super easy to understand and really easy to start collecting.
But here is where they were just brilliant. If you bought by the carton, you didn't just get 10 coupons, you got 14. Those 4 extra coupons were a powerful psychological trick. It made you feel like you were getting a bonus, a deal, encouraging you to buy in bulk and, of course, dramatically speed up your collection.
But
that's not all. No, sir. Belair gives you a famous Raleigh coupon on the back of every pack. Raleigh coupons good for hundreds of wonderful free gifts for every member of your family, every room in your home. And those Raleigh coupons mount up fast. You see, you get 4 extra Raleigh coupons when you buy Belair by the carton. That's 14 in all.
Okay, so you've been saving your coupons. They're starting to pile up in a drawer somewhere, just like the commercials promised. But what could you actually get with them? This is where the advertising fantasy became a real, tangible thing.
Welcome to the Bible of the Belair and Raleigh Smoker, the gift catalog. This was the physical proof of the promise. It was filled with hundreds of wonderful free gifts, turning all those abstract coupons into real, aspirational items for your home, for your family.
And the range of items was just staggering. I mean, you could start small with something like a Hager ashtray for 225 coupons. Or you could aim much, much higher for a Magnavox stereo at 9,500. And then, for the truly dedicated, the grand prize, a General Electric television for a whopping 11,675 coupons.
Seeing it laid out like this really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? The jump from an ashtray to a television wasn't just a step, it was a massive, massive leap. It required an incredible level of brand loyalty. So just how much loyalty are we talking about here? Let's make this real. Imagine it's 1967, and you've set your sights on that GE television. You are committed. You want it. How long would it actually take to get it for free? Okay, let's do the math. To get those 11,675 coupons, you'd need to buy about 835 cartons. Now, let's say you smoked 1 carton a week. That would take you over 16 years. 16 years of dedicated, loyal purchasing to earn that free television. That is a mind-boggling level of long-term customer commitment.
And it wasn't just about one big prize. The idea was you could literally furnish your entire home and build the perfect suburban lifestyle. You could get a fireplace screen, sterling silver candelabras, luggage, even a tape recorder. The catalog sold a complete vision of the post-war good life, all paid for 1 coupon at a time.
You know, putting this whole strategy in a modern context really shows you just how much has changed. This was a very different era of marketing, with different tools and, you could argue, very different goals.
See, back then, loyalty was a long game. It was tangible and physical. Coupons you could hold, catalogs you could flip through. Today, loyalty is all digital. It lives in our apps, rewarding us with points and miles. And it's often all about instant gratification and getting access to experiences, not necessarily physical stuff.
And the broader messaging was totally a product of its time, too. I mean, this quote from a related ad is a perfect example. These products weren't just sold as items, they were sold as part of a specific lifestyle ideal. It was about what you owned and what that said about your place in the world.
Which really brings us to a final thought. The Belair coupon machine might seem like a relic, something from the past, but the psychological principles behind it are very much alive. So, what are our modern-day equivalents? What invisible promises and digital coupons are shaping the choices we make every single day? That's definitely something to think about.